what's some good stuff to get, and it's this little guy here. This is called the Kick Ash basket. This guy, Chad, who is in Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, all one big state to me up there. But he's an engineer. He designed this little basket to sit down in your grill. And what this enables you to do is get more airflow around the coals, a little bit more cleaner burn. And when you're ready, if you'd like to clean it out, his little tagline or motto is to shake that ash. So you can lift this basket up and shake some of that loose ash down through it, so that you've got a little bit more efficient coal burn. Or you can lift that basket all the way out and shake it off into a trash can or paper bag. These retail for about $59 or so. It's called the Kick Ash basket. And you would take that bottom plate out to not restrict any more of that airflow. So that's a huge, huge deal. When people go to fill these eggs up, this is probably the biggest mistake that people make. They don't put enough charcoal. Even though you may be only cooking at 200 or 300 degrees, you want to fill this charcoal probably to about the middle of this fire ring. Okay, some people will put just a little bit of an inch of charcoal at the bottom. You can't get that fire lit and maintained with just a little amount of charcoal. Go ahead and fill it up. You're not going to burn near all of it at all, but probably about halfway through that ring. So you'll overflow that Kick Ash basket a little bit.
That's your boss.
And then you've got your grate here. And this is where you do what they call direct cooking. You're directly cooking the meat or whatever it is directly over the flame of the fire. So burgers, chicken, steaks, all that kind of stuff that you're going to do a direct cook on. Another good accessory here is called grill grates. And what this is a little system of panels, and you don't have to use all of them, but you can use all of them. But it's a way to kind of pseudo-deflect the flame. People, barbecuing burgers or chicken, you get a lot of char because that flame is kind of coming up, and you're having to flip the burgers all the time, and all that grease is dripping down, and it can be kind of a pain. So this company, Grill Grates, has come up with a little bit of a block. There's holes that allows the grease and stuff to drip down through, but yet you're cooking up above on these raised grates, and there's a little spatula guy that comes with it. You can get in those grates and flip them over. Good way to grill asparagus, or vegetables on top. They have a little tong set that you can reach in there and flip that over. So another good accessory for folks that don't like that charring on their burger or chicken. So covered, that's direct cooking. Now, people that want to do the low and slow, the pork butt, the brisket, maybe a Thanksgiving turkey or something like that, you're going to do what they call indirect cooking. So you'll fill your charcoal up, you'll take your grate out, and you'll use this device. Okay, this used to be called a plate setter, and now it's a convector, like a convection oven. So what you would want to do is flip this thing with the feet up, and you can see on that fire ring, there's some little grooves for that to kind of rest in. And then those feet sticking up are going to hold your grate. And now you're set up for indirect cooking. Your meat is over here, and the smoke and the heat are kind of coming all around. You can also, if you want, put a little drip pan in there, put some water in it, put some seasonings. People put apple juice and onions and stuff. But from what I understand, that does nothing. You can just put water. You don't have to pour it. Don't waste the beer. Drink that. Drink the beer and put some other liquid in there. But really, with the way that this ceramic is designed, it's a lot of moisture in the food. If you want to do pizzas, you can use this same device. Just flip it upside down. Feet down in direct cooking. And you can actually cook your pizza right up here. In a sense, you've actually elevated, some of the surface of this stone. You're getting more heat around it, and you've raised that pizza up higher into the dome. And we'll talk about some of the temperatures that you do, but that's a different way to use this this convector. Does that come with it? Does not come with it. Nope. Everything. Yeah.
That's why I have to go home and say, well.
And we'll go outside here in just a second and light that one. But when you have your egg, you pour your charcoal in there. One of the accessories that you're going to want to get, they call this the ash tool. Okay, so you can use it to kind of stir the coals around a little bit. Maybe after your first or second cook, you can use this to kind of stir those coals and let some of that ash fall down. If you want to add some of your smoking wood, you'll pour that and sprinkle that in and then use this to stir around. The other thing this is used for is to clean it out. So if you guys want to kind of peek in through the top, you've got your little draft door down here on the bottom. You're going to stick this little rake in there and be able to rake out all those ashes into some kind of bucket or bag or something. Obviously, it can cool off. And that's how you would clean this grill out. It's so efficient that you don't really pull. I mean, after a whole bag of charcoal, you'll probably pull a cup full of ash out. It just burns it so efficiently.
On the wood chips, if you got that indirect thing in there, you put them in early, but then you want to add some more, you just put them down outside.
Yeah, you can kind of sprinkle them in on the sides. This has got you enough room, that you can kind of sprinkle that in there. So then you'd say, okay, well, if I'm cooking with wood chips, some of these wood chips to add some more flavor, you can see that, okay, imagine, if you will, you have your charcoal going, you have the indirect rack, the convector, and your big pork butt was up here, and you figure, okay, well, how am I going to get this great here to maybe add some more wood chips? Another accessory, they call this the grill gripper.
You think you paid them
Yeah. You can reach in here and put this, underneath the grate, and then this will let you lift this hot or dirty or nasty grate off, so that you can sprinkle more chips in there, and then put the grate back on. Okay, and so you guys will also become very familiar with the term, if you're looking, you're not cooking.
Yeah.
So this is one of those things where you need to leave the lid down when you're cooking. Yeah, you can get some devices, some wireless thermometers, and run those in there to check, but it really becomes a time and a temp kind of thing. But if you're lifting that lid every 10 or 15 minutes trying to check something, you're letting out all that heat, you're letting out all that smoke, and it's not very efficient. The neat thing about these ceramics, because they're so insulated, if you get this thing up to 600 or 700 degrees and a kid comes by and puts their hand on it, it's gonna burn, but they're not going to the emergency room. I mean, you go to a gas grill and you put your hand on it at 400 or 500 degrees, it's going to melt your hand, and you're going to go to the hospital. So it's one of those things you have to be careful. I mean, it is hot and it's heavy. You wouldn't want people playing around on it, pushing it, but you can touch it momentarily and it's not going to burn you. As far as maintenance to your egg, you don't really have to clean it. Things that you're going to want to do every once in a while, maybe once every 90 days, is check all your bolts. Check all these nuts around that. You can kind of see here. It's so strong you can't actually break the ceramic. You're going to break these bolts before you break the ceramic. So you want to make sure that it's tight enough. You don't want this thing letting go. You can kind of snug up all these nuts back here. There's nothing really to do to the springs, so it's just something you want to check occasionally. So when we get ready to light it, you've got a couple options.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good to see you. You too. You'll fill your charcoal up in the basin, and one of the options to light it is these little lighter tubes. Is that what you guys have used before? Is that what you guys have used before? It's a little solid piece of fuel that you kind of tuck down in there. That's what we're gonna use to light our grill. Shove it down in there, light a couple, 2, 3 places, close the lid, and probably within 20 or 30 minutes, your coals are lit, ready to cook.
I got you.
You never want to use lighter fluid in here. You're using a natural lump charcoal, so there's no petroleum, no chemical smell. If you use lighter fluid, it'll soak into the ceramic, and you have ruined your grill forever. That's option A. Option B is an electric lighter if you have an outlet nearby. They call this the egg-niter, right? It has to be egg related. And what this is going to do is you have your charcoal in there, and this is a crazy hair dryer / curling iron, but you'll actually stick it down in there and touch charcoal with it, and you hit this button, and it's going to generate so much heat and so much wind that probably within about 30 seconds you have a pole lit. Then you can back this out a little bit and continue blowing on the fire, and within 2 minutes your poles are ready to cook on. So this is a speed thing. This is a come home from work, and I don't want to wait to get the grill lit. This is what this is for. These are $90. These little packs are maybe $8. So over time, you know, maybe years, we could probably pay for it stuff, but that's really a speed issue. All right, so when you light this thing,
It has a kind of thing.
like a little hanger.
Yeah, what was that?
Well, it's really to keep this tip off of your table. This thing is super
okay.
hot, so when you
Gotcha.
go put it down, it's trying to keep this elevated
Okay.
off of it. Yeah. So when you go to light it, fill up your charcoal, whichever method you use, but you're actually going to take this bottom vent and open it wide open, and open your top daisy lid wide open. Okay. And I don't care if you're going to cook it at 200 degrees or 500 degrees, but this is how you start it. Both of them wide open. You want to get that fire started and spread and going. It's a Venturi effect. It's air in and air out, and those are your variables. That's how you control the heat. So you're looking at your temp gauge, and as you get it started, it's coming up 50 degrees, 100, 200. Maybe you're going to do a pork butt, and we do those at 225 and 250. Let it get about 20 degrees below that temperature, and then you start changing your variables, okay? So you're going to want to close down the top almost to just 1/8 of it. I mean, just choke it way down. And then your bottom, the same thing, about the width of a nickel. And you're going to have it kind of set up like that. And it's going to hopefully kind of peak up to 250, maybe go 260, and then start its way back down. You will learn how, hey you guys, you will learn what your grill likes. Like what is 225 for you guys, what's 300. You'll start to memorize what those settings are. And for the folks that remember stepping on the old school scales at the doctor's office, you know, they have a 50, 100, 150 thing at the bottom of the thing, and at the top is fine tuning. That's kind of where you're at here. You want to get it pseudo close with this bottom vent, and then you can do your fine tuning with either sliding the top part open and close, and if you guys kind of looking closer to, especially you guys that don't have them. But then you can also adjust the daisy wheel. So you've got the ability to slide it open, or keep this all the way closed, and then choke down here. People complain a lot, every time you open this lid, it would let this slide. So depending on how they assembled your eggs, a lot of people wanted to keep this big green egg logo or name facing the front of the grill. But you have this thing slid open or closed, and as soon as you open the lid, it would mess up your top. So what we do is we actually set this that screw pointing towards you. So if you have it open and you go to lift the lid, you know, it's not going to move as much as it let's see, if you were going to cook steak, you know, 500-600 degrees, you are really going to have this bottom vent wide open, inches with this top vent wide open. And so you start seeing that 500-600 degrees coming up, and then you're going to probably close it about half. And then maybe come up here about half. And again, you will learn that. This will get a little greasy. This will kind of get nasty. So they say you can take this off and spray some oven off on it and scrub it down with a toothbrush or something, and that'll help take care of it. The neat thing about egg is it comes with, when you're done cooking for the night and you shut this bottom vent, you can actually take this top vent off, and it comes with this little kind of like a snuffer. And you can kind of put that on there. That way you can take that inside and clean it. Or lots of times it's still warm, and then it comes with this ability to just kind of shut the thing down. Because when you're done cooking, it's literally as easy as shutting this door and putting this top on, and then that fire is snuffed out. You'll reuse that charcoal over. Now, be careful if you've got this thing 500 or 600 degrees, you cannot do this. You can't just shut the bottom and shut the top. Because all that heat is every place to go. If you're 300 degrees and below, absolutely. Shut the top, shut the bottom, walk away, go back in the house, you're good. Anything over that, you probably need to start shutting your door vent down about half and leave the top off. And after about 20 minutes of cool down, then shut your bottom vent all the way, leave the top off, let some of that heat escape. And then when it gets down to the 300, 250, yeah, go ahead, close some of that.
You know, at least you're interprofessional, it's okay to say that.
That's very good.
Questions on that?
Or at least it is round one. Okay.
I don't think so.
It's, I want to say this is cast iron, and I think it would rust. Yeah. So, let's talk about these bottom vents. You guys can see it's got this little mesh screen door on it. And what that's trying to do is prevent any hot coals from somehow getting through the back and rolling out onto the front and rolling out of your grill. So anytime you are cooking, you do want to pay careful attention that that screen is actually, blocking it, and then use your door to adjust, on that bottom center. All right, let's go outside and light them. Let me go grab a lighter real quick.
Got my lighter. Oh, that helps. Lighters help.
That beer because this is
Looks like diet beer.
All right, let's head outside.
And some lighters. That's good. I'm sorry. Did you not get the calcium? I'll give it to you. Hey, you should have gotten it when you started. I'll take care of it for you. Yes, it's yours. Hey, you should have gotten that when you started.
We didn't, because you mentioned that when I was here
Yeah.
a week ago doing this. I went home and looked and found everything else, but we did not have that one.
Well, there you are.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem. You do? Thanks.
Thank you. Now it's up, ready.
It should be.
Cool.